What's happening? Today is Thursday, so let's talk about something. I talk a lot about nutrition. I love it. And I get a question a lot. We talk about macros in my groups. We talk about micronutrients and the importance of them. But I get questions a lot like, okay, so if we're following macros, what does it matter what we eat? Well, of course it matters. We all know it matters. And some people will say like, don't eat foods you can't pronounce. And then somebody will put up something like, oh, it's a banana and it's got all these made of these chemicals. Don't come at me with all your stuff. Like, save the drama because that's not what it's about. I want to simply talk to you about the importance, working on phonics for my kids. So the importance of eating whole foods. Okay. That can mean a number of things. Okay. But let's keep it real simple. Okay, so my kids have these sometimes. All my crunchy mamas are going to be like, oh my gosh, you give your kids that? Like, not all the time. Sometimes they have these. So this was in the cupboard and I wanted to show you. So this is a prime example of somebody that might grab this when they're counting their macros. It's really super not bad. Like 100 calories, 3 grams of fat, 17 carbs, 7 sugars, like 2 grams of protein. It's 100 calories. So if you're doing like macros or Weight Watchers, just essentially macros, which by the way, again, I just got done working out, so I'm super sweaty and I took my hair down so it wouldn't look too bad and it made it look worse. So anyways, so here, it's a macro friendly-ish kind of snack to grab it on the go. Yes, there's more carbs and protein and fat and probably going to get hungry really soon, but it still has a little bit of whole grains in it. Let's see how many. Oh, 1 gram of fiber. So fiber is another story, but fiber I think is a missing macro, and I think we really need to pay attention to fiber. However, I'm just going to move on. Okay, so this is one example of a macro that somebody could count a macro. Another one into like the natural health world. Okay, we have these kind of things, right? Super delicious. I love this brand. I love grain-free because I had to go grain-free for quite some time. I'm not all grain-free now, but I just kind of gear towards these kinds of brands. They're very simple. They have less ingredients. So here we're looking at 130 calories, 6 grams of fat, 20 carbs. There's no protein and 1 gram of fiber still. There's 5 grams of sugar. These are cinnamon flavored. I haven't tried this particular flavor yet, but I imagine they're going to be delicious. But these have ingredients. They don't have as many as in here, but it's still broke down and they still are processed. So this is still a processed food. But the difference is when your body has to, here, my favorite, it's a plantain. I had another one up here, I don't know what it is. Where it is. Plantains are my favorites. You guys know they're my jam. If you haven't tried plantains, check out the plantain video, but also try incorporating them into your life. If you don't have a banana allergy, point at you with my plantain. Don't eat them if you have a banana allergy, but plantains are such a good source of potassium and all kinds of vitamins and minerals, and it's a great starchy carb, full of prebiotics, things that feed the probiotics, all those things, okay? So this is essentially one ingredient. Again, some people will be like, you have your like super people that will be like, oh, well, it's made up of a bunch of chemicals to make the one, like we know, okay? But you know what I'm talking about. It's just a plantain, okay? So your body only has to process the natural chemicals that it's made from nature, okay, into one single plantain. And then we also have here, one of my faves, also buckwheat. If you guys haven't tried cream of buckwheat, it's so good. I love buckwheat, but this is also, it's kind of processed down like a quick oats versus a whole oats. Okay, but this is essentially, it's just buckwheat. Like it's literally organic buckwheat. Okay, it's just a cereal. It's broke down, so it's going to faster digest into your system. Has less than 1 gram of fiber, so it's not full of fiber, but vitamins, minerals, whole food. Okay, so the difference here is when your body, okay, so let's say you're following a plan or you're following your macros, whatever you're doing, and you're like not seeing the results that you really, really want, or you're just kind of feeling yucky, lethargic, but you're like, Pam, I'm eating, 1,400 calories a day and I'm getting my macros and I just don't feel that good. So of course we're going to look at hydration, we're going to look at sleep, we're going to look at all the things. Are you over exercising, under exercising? Okay, all those things. But when it comes to food, we're going to look at, yes, are you eating enough fiber? Are you forgetting that macro? Get 25 plus grams of fiber a day. Check with your doctor if you have, digestive, diseases or symptoms or something like that. Maybe try a digestive enzyme if you can't digest vegetables, or something like that. But we're going to look at your food next after we look at all those other little factors. And they're like, okay, well, I'm eating, a breakfast burrito from wherever they drive through. And then I'm drinking a latte. And you guys know I love lattes, even though it's almond milk or whatever, still a lot of processed stuff. You're getting decaf coffee or regular coffee that is probably got a little more toxins on it than your body probably could handle, but we won't go into that subject too much. And then, you're like, for lunch, I just had, whatever, burrito thing that I wanted, or I just had burrito, or, you get the point, like cheeseburger or whatever, but I'm following in my macros. And then, and then I have this, 100 calorie snack, it's still in my macros, but I'm so starving. I'm so hungry. Let's change it up a little bit. So this is where the difference between macros and micros comes in. So your body has to process, even if it's these, you guys. So these, I love stuff like this. I am a sucker for things like this. And yes, I can control myself, but I do eat too much sometimes. And I will be like, you don't control me. But they're so good, so easy to overeat. Even though it's not processed full of lots of toxic chemicals, it is processed and it's highly palatable food. And my body was like, oh, those are delicious. I want more. So even with something like this, your body's not going to be like super full, versus if you cook this up and you eat this, or a banana or an apple or whatever, or even this, fully satisfying. Okay. And your body's going to process it better. So what am I saying? I'm saying that if you change your food choices around, and this might be like super not rocket science for anybody, but it's worth mentioning because sometimes we forget the basics. We get so caught up into this fat or that fat, or, keto or carbs or blah, whatever. Okay. Or we get caught up on calories in, calories out. Okay. Yes, that's very scientific. And that also falls into this, but let's pay attention to the majority of your food choices and you will feel better. You'll feel fuller. Your body will know what to do with it, because when you eat this, yes, it's a calorie, only 100 calories, and it's only 3 grams of fat. I think it has some palm kernel oil, so it wouldn't quite fall under it, but things like this. I am the program director at Orange Lifestyle Medicine Clinic, so it's a heart disease reversal clinic, and stuff like this is like, it's low fat, whole grains, plant-based is what we really tout in the program for heart disease reversal. This has, so palm oil is a no-no because saturated fat, but this only has 3 grams of fat, so technically somebody could eat this and they would be hungry very, very shortly after they ate it, okay? Because your body has to, number one, break down every single ingredient in here, okay? Whether or not you have an issue with any of those ingredients, which you might, it's a strong possibility. But even if you don't, it still has to break down all of the ingredients in here. There's a lot, okay? There's a lot of ingredients. Yes, again, my kids have these. So don't hate me out there, all you crunchy mamas. Like, sometimes the kids just need the things, okay? And by the way, my husband bought a box of these, and I'm not going to deny my kids of the food, okay? So anyway, there's a lot of ingredients in here. This has one ingredient. Your body processes it, knows what to do. It's like boom, boom, boom. Give me some carbs, give me some things, give me the energy. Thank you, body, digestive system. Same thing here. Knows what to do. Vitamins, minerals, carbs, prebiotics, all the things. Goes where it needs to go. Hopefully, if you have a decent process, decent gut balance, and your gut's okay, belly, all the things, digestive system. If you don't, again, check with your doctor or try a digestive enzyme. Super simple, over the counter kind of stuff. Find it at a health food store. There's lots of different ways you can digest your food better. If you're having issues, you can certainly message me and contact me. I have had lots of digestive issues, but that's why I pay attention to these things, because they will always come back and creep back up. So anyways, that's my whole point, is to make sure, like, yes, have your things if you want, have your treats if you want. If you're not getting the results that you want, pay attention to the food choices that you're picking for your macros. That makes a big difference. And don't think of it like, oh, it's a bad food and it's a good food. Like, for me, I don't even like to say those words, especially to my kids, like good food, bad food. Number one, for me, it comes with a judgmental tone. And that is not something that I ever want to put upon anybody, or especially my children, or in their vocabulary. Sometimes, they hear it and they say it and they're kind of like whatever to it now. But when they were really little, not a good food, not a bad food. It's just like, okay, this one's going to make my body have energy longer. This one is going to give me lots of vitamins and minerals and fiber. So my body might feel better if I eat this one. This one is delicious, and I'm going to eat this after my sport because I'm starving and it's super yummy. And it has oatmeal, oatmeal's good. So, but it takes our body a little longer to process this one. So, my sister-in-law actually messaged me something funny yesterday about how to talk to kids about the food choices, and I thought it was really clever the way that they did it. So I'll share that sometime. But anyway, so as they get older, you can kind of tell them more. I kind of went straight in for it, like, this is a prebiotic and this is what it does for your gut. So my kids have been hearing that for a long time, but to break it down in, in more simplistic terms, super helpful. I'll share that. So anyways, that is just my tip for you. If you're not seeing the results, even if you're eating things like this, these can be super dangerous if they're open and you don't have control over it, or you're just relying on processed foods. I can physically see a difference in my body. Not only can I feel the difference in my workouts, even lately I've been eating a lot of processed quick stuff like that because I've just been busy. I didn't feel well for a few days, and it's, you just grab those quick carbs your body's, wanting. And even if it's healthy stuff, it's still processed. Your body has to break down each ingredient. And it's not going to know what to do with it as well. You're not going to have the good, clean energy that we all hope for overall wellness and vitality. So that is my rant for today. So pay attention to your food choices. Those in the accountability group, this makes a big difference. I did give everybody a food list of the best choice foods for the first week. I didn't give a second week because nobody responded to the first week. So we're kind of adding things back in slowly. Well, not nobody. There was probably 5 of you. So if you want more, let me know for the group and I'll do that. But outside of that, for anybody paying attention to this and anybody just kind of not reaching your goals, try that. Simple things. So again, cover your basics. Make sure you're aiming for those 10,000 steps a day. Sweat daily. Again, I am sweaty. You guys can't see this totally on here, but it's gross. I just had to do it before my kids got up, and I thought now is a good time. Just do the things right away. My hair is sweaty. I took it down because I thought it would look better, and it didn't, and I'm all blah. So I hope you guys had a great workout. I hope you guys pay attention to that. So cover your basics. Aim for your 10,000 steps a day. Sweat. Make sure you're sleeping 7 to 9 hours a day. I know that seems difficult, especially when we live busy lives, and we all, moms and dads, we wear so many hats. But make a promise to yourself. It's so worth it. Sleep, I'll do another thing on this, but start 30 minutes at a time. Go to bed a little bit earlier, 10 minutes, and then wake up 10 minutes earlier, and then eventually you'll be where you need to be. Make sure you are eating, or make sure you're exercising, at least 30 minutes, 3 times a week, 20 minutes, 4 days a week. Whatever you can do more or less. Try to get outside every day, get some natural sunlight, vitamin D, super important. If you're not and you're low in vitamin D, check with your doctor and take a good vitamin D supplement, D3, make sure you're taking K2. We'll talk about that again another day. But take some good quality supplements if you need them. And then pay attention even outside of your macro count. Pay attention to your food choices, because long term it's going to make the biggest difference, and you will feel well, because I believe that is everybody, at least it should be everybody's goal, is to have health and longevity and feeling full of vitality. And those are some fun words there that I threw all together. And just to really generally just feel well, and to be able to do life with enthusiasm and live a life of excellence. All those things I talk about. Food choices, lifestyle choices will make a difference. So eat your fun snacks and your touted health. Now, this is not a health food. I don't preach this as a health food, but this is just something that kids grab. Normally, we don't really even have these, but we have stuff like this, and I don't even bat an eye at it, because most of their diet and most of our diet is generally healthy. But again, I talked about this today. This is almost 15 minutes long. Most people only watch the first 2 minutes. So if you made it this far, you really must want this information. But again, I talk about this because I had a lot a lot of members in the accountability group and then even personal clients kind of talk about just what like macros, and some aren't feeling well, and myself included. Last week was just kind of a week for me, and then I ate, I'm like a little bloated. I ate just kind of sometimes the processed food that I love, like the Siete brand. Again, I love them and I will eat them weekly, but it was like the majority of my day was that I was not eating the salads because I was bloated and not feeling that well. So you just have to switch it slowly. So I hope that helps. I am past 15 minutes here. Hopefully you guys paid attention and this meant something to you and it helped. If it did, let me know. And if you have any questions, I'm always here to help. And have a great Thursday.